Welcome to Talking Black and Blue, where the rivalries run deep and every Sunday is a battle. I'm your man, Will McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest, bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the Black and Blue division. So whether you wear green and gold, Honolulu blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
Will McCann, what is going on? Week three recap. I am so excited about this. We had some dominant performances. But before we get into that, Will and I are realtors in Metro Detroit in the state of Michigan. So if you know anybody or you are talking about moving in the next 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, reach out to us. We'll get you on the right track, help you score a touchdown in real estate.
My man,
Will, what do
absolutely,
you feel about
absolutely.
this week?
Man, there were some great games across the NFL last week, man.
Yes,
But we got
sir.
some great ones in our division as well. Who saw Green Bay going to Cleveland and coming up with that performance, right? And I give Cleveland more credit than I give lack of performance by Green Bay in that game. I Any given Sunday, man. I thought you had a group of professionals in Cleveland. It's still early in the season. They haven't given up on the season yet. They're not looking for vacation. And the boys were at home and came to play, man. And that's what happens in this league, man. Just when you think you know everything, you find out you don't know anything. And then
Absolutely.
Minnesota, how about Rodgers? Isaiah Rodgers with 2 touchdowns on defense.
Yes.
He scored as many touchdowns as their starting running back, right?
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
you know that they had a great game. You know that Brian Flores is definitely happy with the performance of his team. And then how about Caleb and Chicago and the
Yes.
performance they had against the Cowboys this week, man?
Yes.
That was an impressive performance for them. I really give the Bears a lot of credit because their coach challenged them, right? He called them out. And
Hmm.
not this is the same team that had a divided locker room over previous quarterbacks, and you kind of wondered where this team was mentally. But for them to respond, for the coach to call them out, and for them to not sulk and respond, I thought was positive for the Chicago Bears. So I think that's a good sign for things to come for the Bears.
Absolutely. The NFC North Division went 3-1 this weekend. What can we say about that division? Right? I mean, they all, with the exception of Green Bay, everybody showed up, right? Everybody showed up. So you had Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago putting it to the league. Hey, we're the NFC North.
Yeah.
We do this.
I'm not even gonna say that about Green Bay, man, because I thought Jordan Love did a good job of managing the game up until the very end, right? He was managing the game, man. That their defense was handling the game. If he just thinks it wouldn't be a terrible thing if we punt here, we're playing great defense. They would have been okay, but the same thing I used to say used to happen to Matt Stafford a lot. He will have managed the game all game and then get to a point where I have to make a play here and
Right.
end up making the big mistake. But I give all the credit in the world to Cleveland in that game, man. But yeah, and you talk about the NFC North, bringing it to the rest of the league, man. All four teams ran the ball more than 30 times in that game, man.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
team this division, man, is black and blue. They bring the noise. You hear the pads cracking when these teams play.
That's right.
And
That's right.
even Green Bay ran the ball 31 times, man. They stuck with it, even though it was ineffective. They stayed with it and kept hammering the run game. And too often teams will get away from the run, get one dimensional, and that's usually when the big mistake happens, when you have become one dimensional. And you eventually run out of successful plays, or you can only make so many consecutive successful plays before the defense and those athletes on the other side make a play, and you
Right.
end up with a mistake and end up losing the game. But yeah, I was very impressed with the division this week, man, and how well they played. So let's talk about the individual teams, man, as we head into week four. Start with the Green Bay Packers, the team still in first place in this division after a loss last week. What do you think about the Packers going into week four?
Going into week four, the Packers have an issue with their line, the offensive line, the multiple injuries, and this contributed to what was going on last week for Green Bay. Now, you mentioned they were able to run the ball, but with Zach Tom and Aaron Banks having injuries, there was no impact on the running game. Josh Jacobs couldn't get anything going. He had limited room to run the ball. And then he rushed 16 times for 30 yards. Love was sacked 5 times. 5 times. He was 18 to 25 with one TD. And then, of course, he threw that interception.
Yeah,
Right. But when you have a lack of offensive line play,
yes,
it affects the offense
yes,
tremendously.
yes.
His Love's depth of target was under 2 yards per average,
A lot of
right?
lateral
And this
stuff, right?
and then this is a team that throws the ball down the field.
Yes.
Yeah, he just didn't have time to get that ball off, right? And that contributed to that interception at the end of the game. So
Yeah,
it,
when you've got, yeah, I agree. People in his face rushing the pass, not taking the time to look at the coverage. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
When your offensive line isn't playing well, it will make the entire operation look bad, right?
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. And then
yeah, and I agree with you.
the other thing for the Packers too is the penalties. They
Yeah,
had 14 penalties.
yes.
That's a coaching issue, right?
I thought it was what you said. I thought it was an issue of their offensive line was getting their ass whooped. So there
Okay.
was a lot of grabbing and holding. They were late on a lot of stuff. That's why there are a lot of bad blocks, man. I think that contributed to a lot of it. Um, Pat Kerwin on NFL Network, and I reference this a lot because I think it comes down to it. He says football comes down to you whooping the ass of the guy across from you. And
Absolutely.
I think last Sunday, Cleveland just took it to Green Bay. I think it was a young team with their first game on the road this season. I felt like they were feeling themselves after two home wins, two big emotional home wins. And I just don't think they had the intensity that Sunday. And it's hard to maintain that level of intensity every week, especially when they had as much time off as they had. I think they were a bit flat, and I think Cleveland was a little more intense, and I think that contributed to the game also.
Well, it doesn't help you when you have players in the locker room on film saying we're going to go undefeated for the season. You just put a target on your back.
Micah, I love him. He doesn't believe in the less is more, and I think he needs to adopt that. Active players with podcasts concern me, uh,
Yes,
and it's not a focus issue. It's a bulletin board issue because there are
exactly.
dudes on the other side also, right?
Right.
And when they decide they've had enough of you,
Hmm.
when they're going to bring a level of intensity you were not expecting and you were not ready for, and I think that's
Right.
what happened to them. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about Micah and that. Yeah, I do think that contributed also. Yes.
exactly. Exactly.
Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Where do you think they are headed into week four?
The Minnesota Vikings, it's an interesting team. They probably had the most dominant performance of the weekend
Hmm.
out of the four teams that we talk
Hmm.
about in the Black and Blue division. But Fran Tarkenton, we have a problem. That offensive line, oh my God. So actually the offensive line looked better this this last week
Uh-huh.
because you got Christian Darrisaw back.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some Christian Darrisaw stats.
You'll give me some Christian Darrisaw love here. You know I love
Give
the
you some Christian
guy.
Darrisaw love. Carson Wentz went 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers,
Hmm.
right? That was in last week's game.
Yeah.
Also, Minnesota rushed the ball for 169 yards at an impressive 5.5 yards per carry.
They ran the ball 31 times. Yes.
Right. Jordan Mason delivered 116 yards, 2 touchdowns on 16 carries, averaged 7.3 yards per carry. That is Christian Darrisaw.
That is the effect of the return of Christian Darrisaw. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Now, that being said, Carson, the stats are amazing and you can't debate them, right?
Right.
But the way that Carson Wentz looked and that offense actually looked under Carson Wentz,
Hmm.
there's there's very little difference between him and JJ. I feel like JJ could have been in that game
Hmm.
and put up a similar performance.
When you get a pick six and a scoop and score,
Right.
and it starts to tilt the field in your favor, and you can just continue to run the football. Yes, that's
Yeah,
a lot less pressure on the quarterback when that happens.
a lot less pressure. So like I said, I feel like JJ could have been in that game and had
Mhm.
similar numbers to Carson Wentz. Visually, it doesn't look too different from the first two games that they had. How so when I say they have a problem, that offensive line the interior really needs to pull together. And if they're consistent, they can put up some wins and they'll be competitive in the division and in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think overall as a unit they played better. Yeah, they've got to continue to play better, continue to get better pass blocking wise, right? They I thought they did an excellent job run blocking,
Hmm.
pass blocking, and I think there was a lot of rust with Darisaw. Well, there's two things: there's rust and there was Miles Garrett, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
For you to come off of injury and for your first game to be Miles Garrett, yeah. So he looked a little slow on a couple of those pass rushes. So Kevin O'Connell getting them going in the run game though
Right.
was definitely positive for them, and they looked. I thought they looked great. Overall, defensively is where I'm thinking. Just when I think of the game in totality, man, the way they dominated on defense, and I know people will say, yeah, they dominated Cleveland, but that's still another NFL team. I mean, not
Right.
Cleveland. Uh, who was it last week with them? Cincinnati. I said Cleveland.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati's, defense is a sieve, but still, their offense. I'm sorry, their offense is struggling without Joe Burrow. Is where I was trying to go with that.
Okay.
Minnesota's defense having a great performance, not just because Burrow wasn't there. They still have dudes, and Jake Browning has played well, but I think Minnesota's defense was outstanding on Sunday. All right, moving on to the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about them.
And the Detroit Lions. So I went into that game, and we talked about this last week. I
Mhm.
just wanted to see the Lions be competitive.
Yeah.
But the way the score doesn't indicate it, the way they dominated that game, pretty much on all phases of the game, man, I mean, they just put the league on notice, right? With what they're doing. I mean, there were a few times where the defense kind of broke down, but overall, especially when they got to the that point where uh, Baltimore was pressing and they needed to get points, and they were able to get that pass rush going. The defensive backs were able to stay with their receivers man on man and cover. So there weren't places for Lamar to throw the ball. And then they were just disciplined on that, right? They were filling those lanes and not giving Lamar anywhere to go. So I'm most impressed with what they were able to do on the defensive end of it. But offensively, yeah, we got to talk about this team, man. That offensive line look night and day from that first game against Green Bay.
Yeah,
They were coming on rushing plays, they were coming off the ball. They were 2 and 3 yards down the field.
yeah,
And then your tandem's backfield, they were at the second and third level before they were being touched.
yeah.
Receivers were blocking, even J-Mo was out there blocking. So
I love J-Mo. I love that aspect of him. He is always out there blocking.
yeah.
He
So
might catch the ball with his chest, but he blocks with his chest also. And I love that.
uh but for the Lions, great performance. And they were just saying, oh, just in case you forgot, we still got some trick plays.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. And then that fourth down pass to
Mm,
St. Brown,
Brown.
you could see that coming. If you watch that game, if you go back and watch that game, at least two or three plays before that,
Mm-hmm.
they motioned St. Brown into block.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that fourth down play came, they motioned him again. He went in the interior, popped out. I was like, man, these boys.
Dan Orlovsky always talks about how, and he used to always credit Ben Johnson for this, right?
Hmm.
That they line up the same way and run different plays,
Right,
or they run the same play out of different formations, right?
right.
And I always said, this is Dan Campbell's offense, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, and I think we continue to see that against Baltimore. Yeah, their defense, man. I thought their defensive backfield really didn't get a lot of credit for how well they played. Because
Right.
I thought a lot of those sacks were coverage sacks.
Yes.
Lamar never throws the ball away, right?
Right.
The where he hurts most people and where the Lions have always been vulnerable, they always seem to do a good job against running quarterbacks, whether it's Justin Fields or Jordan Love right in their own division, or Jaden Daniels last year in the playoffs. They always scheme wise do the right thing and have him corral, but they never are able to put their hands on the guy and get him on the
Right.
ground.
Right.
And they were able to do that the other day. Somebody got him by the shoe once, grabbed him by the shoe, he tripped and fell. And somebody got him around the ankles once and got him on the ground.
Yeah. I
And
think one of those plays,
those usually are the ones where they get hurt. They just don't tackle the guy.
right.
And they were able to tackle him and get him on the ground.
I
And
think one of
like I
those,
said, a lot of those were coverage sacks.
yeah, definitely cover sacks. I think one of those sacks you're mentioning was Muhammad. Muhammad had 4 sacks, four tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 3 quarterback hits. I don't know where this guy came from, but man, if he can perform like that every week,
For the people who wanted the Lions to re-sign Zadarius Smith, Dan Campbell always was saying he felt they were okay depth wise. Yeah, I
yeah,
think we're okay. And I think Muhammad was, or Tim Twentyman would always say he felt Muhammad was one of the reasons. And then trying to bring one of the young guys along also. Yeah, I thought Kelvin Shepard's unit played very well last week. And then the
mhm,
middle of that old line has come together. Like you said, yeah, did Roquan Smith make any tackles? Because they were getting to the second level and moving him out of the way all game long. On the 75-yard run, I think it was Panay who washed him out.
yeah,
And he got
yeah,
moved out on the 38-yard touchdown down the sideline by Montgomery also. just wasn't in the play at all. They were washing him out all game. And I think Baltimore not having their best defensive tackle, Mitabuke,
Yeah.
in the middle, I thought that helped also. But yeah, the interior of their line really played well Monday night. And then we bring up the fourth place team in the division, the Monsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears.
Man, I'm so happy for Caleb, Ben Johnson, and the Bears. Going into this game, I didn't think that they had a chance of winning this game. And we talked about this where I had them going 0 and 5.
Right, right, right.
Saints. Yeah. So I haven't watched Dallas all season. And Dallas looks like they could use a potential Hall of Famer at edge rusher.
You think they could use a pass rushing defensive end? You think that would help their defense?
Right. So, but Caleb would look great. Yeah, what, almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. So,
No
yeah,
picks?
no picks, looked comfortable out there. They just have to be consistent,
Yes.
right? Just have to be consistent and have growth from game to game
Mhm.
because they're not a good team. I'm just gonna say they're not a good team. For all the top picks that they have and the talent that's on the field, we just need to see Chicago be consistent and have growth. And if they're a 500 team, that's a success.
I would agree with that. I think when the season started, we said somewhere between 7 to 9 wins, 6 to 9
Right.
wins, but needed to see growth. I agree, man. I with Caleb, I don't question his game. I question his leadership, right?
Right.
The young man does not turn the ball over, man. And it's rare you find a young player who doesn't turn the ball over. And for a guy who gets sacked as many times as he does, he's extremely durable. He plays every play, every game. I love those about him. So you know the young man is a gamer. Um, Playing on schedule uh, is going to be the biggest place where he needs to grow in his game. You know he can make the off schedule play.
Hmm.
Uh, and he is a good athlete. It's rare you can be Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Their offensive coordinator is pretty much saying, we just have to live with the fact he's not going to throw the ball. Right? I don't even think they coach him to throw the ball away. Right?
Yeah.
Because how many times have we seen him retreat 20 yards, circle around the defense, and make a play, right? But
Hmm.
not everybody is Lamar Jackson. Not everybody has that level of athleticism.
Right.
Not everybody is that elite of an athlete. So for most quarterbacks, you got to get that coached out of you. At least to the point where you are more consistent playing on schedule and you're letting that part of the game be an accessory to your game and not
Yeah.
the main part of your game.
Because the truth to the matter is that this game was a Caleb game.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
What you saw displayed was that great athletic talent and
Yeah,
the ability to throw the ball down the field.
yeah.
There's a little petty in there because they were playing LaFleur or Eberflus. And I feel like Ben Johnson's a petty, petty person as well. So there was a little bit of statement being made there. But to your point, he's been able to stay on the field, but as he gets older, being able to play on time, play within the system, get the ball out so he's not taking those hits,
Yes.
that's going to keep him on the field and keep him from and give him longevity in the league because
Mhm.
you can't continue to run around when you get to be 29, 30.
Yeah. If you're
even
still
even if
running,
you're if even if you could or you can and you're
right,
still on the field, that coach is not going to go he's not going to be like, okay, that's fine, you just took a 20-yard. No, no, no. We're not taking 20-yard losses, son. Like, get rid of
right,
the ball.
right. Yeah, I agree with you. A quarterback at that age can't be running around, and if he's still running around by that age, he's only going to get hurt. So yeah, I agree with you. That's going to have to get coached out of him. Uh,
Correct.
I still think their O line is a work in process too. Their three interior linemen have not been playing together. Um, the center, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's been playing well, but Tooney and Jackson, two veteran guards you would think would be playing a little better. I think they're capable of playing better, and as the season goes on, I think you'll see some improvement out of them. But that's going to determine how well their run game is. They really don't have a hammer in the background. They got your man DeAndre Swift, who can explode, but and he has, carried the ball 30 times in a game, multiple times. But I
Right.
don't think he's the guy you want to be feeding the ball to that much. And
Yeah.
Robert Dunze, man, that young man is really playing well to start the season, and I think that's positive for the team.
Yeah, and that gets back to my point about the consistency and wanting to see that growth at a consistent level from game to game. Because if you have that interior offensive line that can protect the quarterback and also provide adequate run blocking, they're going to be a team that will have success
Mm,
on the offensive side of the ball. So to your point, that's very important for the development of Caleb Williams
yeah,
and also for the play calling of Ben Johnson.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, man. So let's turn the page. We've looked back on week three, talked about status of the team. Let's turn forward to games for week four. We got four games this week. There are no divisional games this week. So all four teams we've got active this week. Starting with Green Bay at Dallas, which is the Sunday night game. Tell me, what do you think there? What are your thoughts there?
So Packers are favored by 6.5. Over under is at 47.5. Cowboys are trash. If the Cowboys can't manufacture a pass rush, Jordan Love is going to have a amazing game. He's going to pick them apart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Last week, Love's average was below 2 yards per pass.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be, it's this week, it's going to be more like 20 yards per pass, right? So I got only because uh it's this game's in it's
It's in
at the
Dallas.
Cowboys, right?
It's in Dallas.
It's in
Sunday
Dallas.
night.
I
Yeah.
got this game Green Bay 28, Cowboys 9.
Oh, well, you
Packers
did start with the Cowboys are trash. Now, you said 28 to 9?
28 to 9.
28 to 9. Just want to make sure I get it correct here.
Yeah, and I just highlighted the offensive side of
Yeah.
for the Packers, but that
Yeah.
defensive side, and it's a Micah Parsons grudge game. Come on.
Mm, mm.
Dak
Yeah.
Prescott's going to be looking at the ceiling of the dome most of the game. Trust me.
Uh, Rex Ryan called the Dallas defense the Doomsday defense. It says they're never covering anybody on the back end. They're always out of position. And who was it? Somebody on NFL radio called their defense the get right defense because the opposing
Absolutely.
offense just seems to get right.
Absolutely. I was being nice saying 28 to 9. I could see Green Bay scoring into the 30s. So
I am this week um, going with the any given Sunday professional pride of the Dallas Cowboys. And I won't say never. I seldom like a team who's on the road for the second week in a row. And this is going to be the second week in a row on the road for the Packers, coming off a game they didn't play well, going to a team who I think has some desperation about them, who I think will play with some professional pride on Monday night. I'm sorry, Sunday night at home. And I've got Dallas 24, Green Bay 20.
So let me ask you this question. Do you do you think that the professional pride home game overrides the up-down theory?
And those are competing theories in this game, right?
Right.
And
We'll
you're right
find
because
out.
this is and you're it is why I struggled with this game for the Packers, right? Um, Green Bay was the perfect Cleveland was the perfect storm for Green Bay because of the up down theory, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think this week I'm writing the at home professional pride a little bit over the up down theory this week. That's why I've got it a close game. I think it will be a close game. See, it could be a close game, and Green Bay makes plays at the end
Yeah.
because
I,
Dallas
I
defense isn't going to be able to stop anybody.
yeah. I joke about it, but I'm excited to watch Micah Parsons against Dallas. I'm excited to see
Watch
it.
him live in their backfield.
Yes.
All right, next up, we've got Minnesota at Pittsburgh. And this is the Dublin game. So this will be at 9:30 Sunday morning.
So Vikings, and we just so that you guys are aware, we do tape these on Wednesday morning,
Yes.
and then we try to drop them either Thursday or Friday. So as of Wednesday morning, Vikings are 2.5 favorite. The
Mm.
over under is 40 and a half. Carson Wentz tries to do more, which is too much. He'll
Mm.
get sacked 3 times and throw 1 pick.
Mm.
Steelers 17, Vikings
Ooh.
10.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I have it similar. I think we've got similar thoughts there. Um, I expect the score to be a little bit higher, but I kind of think the same thing, right? I think this is definitely where the up down falls in for Minnesota, right? For Carson Wentz in particular. For him going on the road, going to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh at home, I think is just going to be a little bit too much. I've got it Pittsburgh 23, Minnesota 17.
Now, this isn't Dublin, but the Steelers are the home
Yeah,
team.
that's true. They are the home team in Dublin. They are the home
Yes.
team in Dublin.
So it's
Uh,
not a
but
true
yeah,
home game,
it's not a
but
true home game. Right. It's a neutral site game, but I
yes.
still have the Steelers. I still have the Steelers and Mike Tomlin's defense.
What score you have?
23-17,
Okay, okay.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have Cleveland visiting the Detroit Lions.
All right. So the Lions are favored by 8.5. The over under is 44 and a half. Take the over. Look, the Lions are going to unload 5 new trick plays just to keep the upcoming coaches up late at night. I got the Lions 43,
Ooh,
Browns 6.
come on. I'm gonna give you a chance to think about that score.
No, I'm going with it. I'm going with it. There's going to be a couple defensive TDs. Yeah, some pick sixes.
Woo, my man said 43-6.
Yes, take the over
How are you taking the over in a game you only have one team scoring 6 points?
because the it's 44 and a half. The Lions are scoring 43.
Oh, you're killing me with that one, bro.
Bears just need one field goal for you to win the over.
Oh man.
Uh,
I've got Detroit coming home off an emotional win on a Monday night with a short week. You've got Cleveland coming off an emotional win, going on the road. I think there'll be a bit of a letdown for both teams. I still think Cleveland, one of the better defenses in the league. I don't see them. I struggled with the Lions scoring 30 points in this game. I had 30, erased it and wrote 28 once. I think I finally settled on Detroit 27. Cleveland 17.
Okay. I mean, it's respectable. You're talking about that professional pride showing up until the Lions pride shows up.
And then lastly, we have Chicago on the road at Las Vegas playing the Raiders this week. Who do you got now?
Raiders favored by 1.5, over under is 48. Geno Smith has not looked good,
No,
but
he hasn't.
this could be a good right game for him versus the Chicago secondary, specifically Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
But I do have it as a close game. I got the Raiders 24 and the Bears 20.
You think he's going to be on the sideline waving to the crowd? I'm sorry, give me that score again.
Raiders 24, Bears 20.
Really? You got the Raiders winning this game, huh?
I do. I do.
Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting. Okay. I struggled with this one. I think I had a close game. Defensively, I just don't know if Vegas has enough. Uh, don't know where they are headspace wise. I'm actually going to take the Bears in this one. I'm taking the Bears to go on the road and get a victory. I've got Chicago 21, Las Vegas 16.
Okay. I mean, the smart money is saying the over under is at 48. So it's gonna be, they're predicting
Mhm.
type of game that's just gonna be tons of touchdowns and that type of thing. So,
Right?
both of us are coming in under that and looking for a more competitive game. So, we'll see what it looks like. But I
Yeah.
think this is a game where Gino re- does really well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good week for the division overall, with all four teams, man.
Yeah.
We have three 2-1 teams in the division, one team that's 1-2. Um, no team, oh, well, I take that back. Chicago had both losses are two division teams, right? They can say they haven't lost in a game they haven't played outside of the division. That won't mean anything until they play a few more games, though.
Right.
But I did want to point out one thing. Tellis gave the point spread for each game, and he gave the over under. Just want to make sure you guys understand. None of our predictions are an endorsement of any gambling bet. Right? We're not giving you predictions for the purpose of you to go out and gamble. All right? We're
Look,
giving you the predictions for the challenge. Right? Of
right.
seeing who can have the best record overall each and every week. So if you place
Absolutely.
bets on these games based on our prediction, don't start sending me no comments. All
Right.
right.
Absolutely. Don't be a knucklehead, right? This is for informational purposes only. We we are not endorsing gambling. If you gamble, that's fine, but don't look for us. We're not gambling experts.
We're not trying to
This-
be experts in that arena, right?
no, no, this is just information as we go through and we pick these games.
Yeah, yeah. So far in the season, tell us there have been 9 division games through 3 weeks. You are 4-5, and your man is 6-3 so far.
Okay, okay.
So we were both 1-3 last week, man. We both picked Chicago. No, we both picked Green Bay, and we picked Chicago to lose.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we both missed our nose, and then you picked Detroit, and I picked Minnesota.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So we'll
Yeah,
see how they all flesh out this week. I
respectful.
think we've got 2 games that are different this week, so
Yeah,
we could be even
right.
come next week.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that'll put a bow tie on this week's episode, man. Got anything to say as we close out today?
Well, just final thoughts is I'm looking to see how many reps Micah plays, right,
Mm,
coming into this week. I want to know if the Bears have actually unlocked a new level going into the week. And then what is that quarterback experiment that's going on in Minnesota? How's that going to work out? How's that playing out? And then just looking to see what new fun plays the Lions are going to unleash on the Browns. All right, that's a wrap this week's episode of Talking Black and Blue. We appreciate you hanging out with us. You know, Will and I love talking football, but when we're not breaking down the NFC North, we're out here grinding in the real estate game. So whether you're looking for homes or you're looking for highlights, we're always talking shop. Hit us up if you're ready to make that move.
The fundamentals of football is blocking and tackling, and nobody blocks and tackles in real estate better than Tellis and I.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
with that, folks, we put a wrap on it. Hey, enjoy the games this week, and we will see you next time.